Hey everybody, what's up? What is today? The August 16th. It is Tuesday, Wednesday. It's Wednesday. It's been a day so far. So I just finished doing a panel discussion with the International Association of Women. We were talking about inclusive culture. So that was fun. So as soon as that video is rendered, I will post the link so that you have access to it. But while my face was like a little made up and I looked like a human, I thought I would come on here and just chat with you all for a minute. And if you're on, say hello. Say hello to me in the comments. And while I'm going through this today, if you have any questions, just chat with me. But for those of you who don't know me, I'm Kelly Charles Collins. I am known as the Speaker Mogul. I'm the CEO of HR Legally Speaking, which is a corporate training and consulting company. And I'm also the CEO of Speaker Moguls, where we position experts to secure corporate training contracts. Hey, Janelle, how are you? And so today, you know what I want to talk about today? I want to talk about some do's and don'ts of professional speakers, but let me finish introducing myself. I am also, see, I just go all over the place sometimes. I am a retired employment law attorney. So I practiced law for 24 years. I started my legal career as a public defender down in Miami-Dade County. And then I practiced employment law for 21 years, where I represented corporations and all the issues that they have with their employees. So, employer employee relationships. Hey, Val. Hey, Derek. It's so good to see everybody. Y'all engage with me, ask me questions, whatever you want to do. And so in at the end of 2019, when I lost my job as a lawyer, when they said they could no longer afford to pay me, I transitioned to the full-time entrepreneurship, which was already in my plans. So they just helped me make the decision even quicker. And so I transitioned to be a professional speaker and corporate trainer. And so I've been doing that for several years and doing it successfully. And so I work with corporations to create inclusive and every voice matters. And I just released my fifth book, Convo Catalyst. You can see that behind me. It's available on Amazon. So you can go to convocatalyst.book.com. I'll drop it in the comments. But what I want to talk about today is not me necessarily as a corporate trainer. I want to talk about, like, as a professional speaker, some do's and don'ts. And this all came up because I was at an event recently, and there were just some things happening right throughout this event. And I started taking notes. And I do this often now. When I go to events, I'm looking, obviously, I'm there to get the content, right? The substantive content. So I'm writing down notes and I'm learning. But because I am a mentor for speakers, because I am a speaker, because I host events and will be doing live events going forward, in-person events, I'm also watching the process. I'm watching what's happening behind the scenes, what's happening, and how it is impacting the speakers, right? And so I have a list of things that I'm going to go through and just want to share them with you and to just give you some insight. So one of the things, that first thing was that the event started late, right? And not just a little bit late, it did start like a lot late. And why that struck me, particularly as a speaker, is because we had an agenda. We could see when people were supposed to speak. So I'm thinking, as a speaker, I'm like, wow, the poor speaker who's supposed to be at this time, because now they're going to get cut short, right? Their presentation is going to get cut short. So they've come there thinking, oh, I have 30 minutes, oh, I have an hour. And now all of a sudden, no, you really got like 10. You got 10 good minutes if you have that. And so, looking at events and whether or not they start on time and they start late is really important for you as a speaker to be thinking about. So especially if you are the first person who is going to be on stage. So like if you're the opener, generally, if you're the opening keynote, they may give you a little leeway. But what I want you to know as a professional speaker is that even if they start late, that your responsibility is to stay within the time frame, right? So if it was supposed to start at 9 and you were going to speak from 9 to 10 and it doesn't start till 9:30, I don't want you to get up there and be like, well, y'all were 30 minutes late. So since I was supposed to speak for an hour, I'm going to speak from 9:30 to 10:30. Do not do that. Do not do that. Speak from 9:30 to 10 so that you can keep the program on track, right? Don't be the person. Don't be the person that then takes everything off track, right? Because it's not going to bode well for you in the long run. You don't want to do that. On the other side of that, as the planner or the person who's hosting the event, when somebody gets on stage, let them know, like, hey, if you're okay with them saying, listen, we started 30 minutes late, so you can take the 30 minutes going forward. If you're okay with that, then tell them. If you're not, before they get on that stage, you need to let them know, listen, we're sorry. We know we started late. We know that you were supposed to have an hour, but now you only have 30 minutes. Right. And I need you to get that presentation done in 30 minutes. Because what happened was that a couple of the speakers in this event had to have their things cut short. And so one of the things that happens when you don't know how to shorten your presentation on a whim is that you end up going through some of your presentation and the rest of it, you just leave people hanging because you can't get there, or you have 100 slides and you've only gotten through 20. And now you're going to go to slide 98 and 99 and 100 so you can be done, right? So you're just going to fly through the rest of the slides. Well, what that does is like it throws people off. So one of the things I do when I work with speakers is to help them to craft their signature talks, right? Their messages, their presentation. And the way that we develop your talk allows you to be able to, in a moment's notice, go from, oh, I was supposed to do an hour and I only have 15 minutes. No problem. Got you. Right? We know, I teach my clients how to do that. So in situations like this, if that was my client who was up there on the stage, what happened on that stage where they were just, they just like basically gave us part of the presentation and were like, yeah, I got to get off the stage and don't give you the rest. That would never happen with my clients. They will still be able to take you on a complete journey and take you through the message because we have crafted their talk in such a way that they're able to do that. Or if they needed to expand it, they could do that too, right? So that's really important to be paying attention to the timing and not to be the person that goes over the time, right? Don't ever be that person. It is disrespectful. If all you got is 30 minutes, figure out how you're going to get that message out in 30 minutes. Do your best. You're a professional speaker. You should be able to like contract that message and get it out. Another thing was watch what you wear, right? When you're on stage, understand, try to get enough information beforehand about what the lighting is, what the staging is. Are you going to be on a stage? And if you're going to be on a stage up high and the people are down low, should I wear a dress? Should I wear a short dress? If I'm going to wear a dress and I have Spanx or some other foundational garments underneath, I need to practice. If I'm going to be raising my hands and if I'm going to be moving all over the place, I need to practice that to see if my dress is going to raise up, because this is what happened on the stage, right? The dress was raising up and you could see all of the foundational garments underneath because the stage was high. We sat low and moving hands, right? So thinking about what it is that you wear on stage and be cognizant of how you move, right? And what you do. There was another person who was on stage and he had on a shirt and he was just profusely sweating through the shirt, right? That doesn't look good, right? It doesn't feel good to the audience. It doesn't look good to the audience. So again, look at what it is that you're wearing. Remember, when you're on stage, you are a representation. Val, don't laugh, girl. Listen, it was something like huge armpit stains, right? Your representation. And so you want to make sure that this is your brand. You want to make sure that you are positioning yourself. You never know who's in the audience. So, especially for those of you who are speaking at like association conferences, and we know that decision makers are in the audience, and those are the people that we want to come up to us afterwards and say, "Hey, I need you to come train my employees." Then you have to present yourself in a way. Does that mean you have to wear a suit? No, wear whatever you want to wear, but just make sure that it is appropriate in terms of how you're going to show up. Let's see, what else did I have? Oh, don't, if you didn't prepare, which I hope none of you do this, but if you didn't prepare for being able to be on the stage and prepare the talk that you were supposed to do, don't get on the stage and tell people, I didn't even prepare and I'm here, right? And I'm going to talk to you. Like, how does that get anybody to want to listen to you or to be connected to you or to trust you, right? And it's also disrespectful, right? Because people have given up their money and their time to be in that space. So if you didn't even respect or think enough of them to, prepare, come on now. And don't tell them. Don't tell them. Don't be so arrogant that you tell people, yeah, I don't care nothing about your money. I don't care anything about your time. I didn't even prepare for this. I'm just here and we just gonna do whatever we do. Don't do that. That is not the mark of a professional. Remember that you're mic'd. That's another one, right? So we had a hot mic situation. Get a couple of hot mic situations, actually. So always remember, especially if you have, when I like speaking with the lavalier mics, right? Because I don't want anything on my head. I'll clip it here or whatever. So just remember that you have that mic on, and once you're on stage, obviously you need it on, but once you're off stage, you want to make sure that that thing is turned off. Or if before you're going on stage, you're like, oops, I got to go to the bathroom, just make sure it's turned off, right? Make sure, and just be mindful of what you're saying and how you're saying it, because you are mic'd, right? Or somebody close to you around you might be mic'd and forget that they're mic'd. And so now there's a hot mic situation. Okay. So be careful about that. Here was another thing that happened. There was a speaker who just wanted to answer questions, but they also had a presentation. But what happened is that because they were so desirous of engaging with the audience and answering questions, it threw them off, right? It threw them off topic. Being able to answer questions while you're giving a presentation is a skill, and to be able to get back on track. So one of the things when I'm training, I know my topics like backwards and forwards. I can do my presentation without any type of PowerPoints or anything. So I can answer questions during my presentation and then still get back to what it is I'm supposed to be doing. They'll never throw me off. If that's not something that you have practiced, if that's not something that you know how to do, then leave the Q&A until the end. Do your presentation. Let people know that they can ask you questions at the end so that you don't feel obligated or like you're ignoring them during the time period, like they want to ask you a question, but now they've completely thrown you off your game and you now don't look like the expert that you are. You don't look like the thought leader that you are, because now they've taken you out of the space and you can't get back in, right? So yes, we want to engage. Yes, by answering questions, we also highlight our expertise more. However, if that is going to be to your detriment in terms of how you do your presentation and the information that you need to convey to your audience, put that at the end. Don't ad lib on stage if you're not used to it. So if you're not used to just like going off the cuff and then again getting back to where you're supposed to be, just stick with what you know. Stick with your presentation and do your presentation. Don't just, don't all of a sudden decide to become the comedian, right? Or just go off on a tangent on some story because somebody said something, maybe somebody's heckling you or somebody yelled out a question and now you want to go off on that tangent. If you do not know how to do that and get back to what you're supposed to be doing and complete what you're supposed to be doing in the time that you're supposed to do it, do not ad lib. Oh, this was a good one. This is for if you're going to plan an event. So a lot of you who follow me and some those of you who are my clients too, some of you are my clients. You host events. So whether it's a virtual event or an in-person event, when you're hosting an event, there needs to be a flow of information, right? Not just a whole bunch of topics. So don't just have all your friends from wherever, oh, you could talk about this and then you could talk about this. And yeah, that's kind of related to the overall topic. It, it's adjacent enough that you could talk about it. No. Make sure that you're taking people on a journey, that there's some desired path that you're taking them on, so that the information that they're getting doesn't seem so overwhelming and like waterboarding, but that they can see how one thing connects to the other thing. So, just be mindful of that as you're planning events. And sometimes you don't need all those speakers. Sometimes all you need is you, right? Sometimes all you need is you. All right. What else? Oh, clickers. So when you're doing your presentation, if you're doing a PowerPoint presentation, bring your own clicker just in case, right? Because sometimes the clickers that they have there don't work. I always bring my own clicker. The other reason I bring my clicker is because I have one that sits on my finger, because as you can see, I use my hands all the time. So I have one that sits on my finger so that I can use my hands and I can move my hands around and not be worried that, the clicker is gonna go flying, or, I can't use it, or that the clicker doesn't work. And if the clicker doesn't work, it doesn't work. Just go with it. Try to find, like there, what they had was people just next slide. It's not as good, right? It just slows down your presentation, and sometimes it doesn't, it impacts the delivery of it and impacts the impact of the presentation. But it is what it is, and you just have to go with it. And then lastly, what I want to just mention is we often assume hold on one second. We often assume people know more than they do, right? Remember that we are the experts. And so as the experts, we're further along on the journey than other people. And so when we're on stage and we're speaking, we have to remember that and understand who's in the audience, and then take them, right? We may have to go back to the beginning, remember where we started on this journey, so that the information that we're trying to get them to understand, they at least have a foundation for understanding where, right? Maybe it's definitional terms, right? Maybe it's definitions that you have to give people. You need to explain acronyms, especially industry acronyms. So just remember that you're the expert and that you know more than they know. So that was it. I just really want to share those things with you because they came up the other day and I took notes, and I've been meaning to come on and share them with you. So let me know what you think. You can put it in the chat. If you're watching this on replay, just put team replay and let me know. For those of you who want to learn more about what it is that I do in the world as it comes to speakers and how I help experts to secure these corporate contracts, you can go to Get Known and Paid. I'm going to put this up here, getknownandpaid.com. And you can apply to get on a call with me. So let me put this up real quick. Let's see. Yeah, you can go to getknownandpaid.com and you can get on a call with me so that we can chat to see, you're welcome, Val, to see if we're a good fit to work together. But let me know what you think about let me know what you think about the things that I shared, and whether or not you've had any experiences and things that you've observed that you want other people to know and be wary of. So those are some of your do's and don'ts of a professional speaker coming from a professional speaker. And I hope that you have an amazing, amazing day. Take care until I see you next time.